I am Barry Musa. Welcome to the Africa Daily Show on Africa Global Radio. Let's get on to our discussion zone right about now. Okay, let's begin. And I would like to start by asking my man Hafiz, how is he doing? Guy?
I'm doing great.
Oh, nice. How was the weekend? Was
nothing
good?
to complain about. Yes, yeah.
Did you win your matches? Or you just played only one match, Chelsea? So you're smiling. Tuchel started doing magic, eh?
Of course.
I know.
I mean, it's a new era, so.
Don't worry. You start fumbling and you come to me and buy. We need to change this guy. No problem. We'll have offers. Okay, yeah. Let me start with you. It's all about the Black History Month. Not just in the U.S., but every global African would be looking to be a part of this journey because it's all about, recognizing, getting to learn about, the history part of the struggles, the things that the struggle actually gave birth to, okay, in the global African spheres, right? Let's talk about that right about now. I will be coming to Mommy in a bit. Okay, Hafiz.
Yes, thank you very much. Listening to you earlier on, I think you practically covered the basis.
Okay, right.
Yes, but just to recap, I think Black History Month started as the brainchild of Carter G. Woodson,
Absolutely.
the Harvard-trained historian. That is. Yes, and he would later on be affectionately known as the father of Black history.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Much like Adam Smith, we call him the father of
Economics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in around February 1926, he decided to put out a release to mark what he termed as the Negro History Week.
Right.
Then,
Right.
But then the interesting thing about the February date was the fact that, the whole idea was for it to be held in the second week of February, so to coincide with the birth dates of Abraham
Lincoln,
and
exactly.
Frederick Douglass.
Right.
That's the 12th and the 14th
Yeah.
of February, just to put it in perspective. And I think this whole idea was welcomed by philanthropists, scholars, and all whatnot. In fact, it was an instant hit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
50 years later, we had the president, Gerald Ford, turned a week-long event into a month-long thing. So, but then since then, February has been that day where Americans they try to remember those that were brought into America against their will,
Right.
enslaved and brutalized, only to be let free, and then denied full, fair, and equal access to what we now know as the American dream. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Right. Well, yes, as Hafiz rightfully put it, it's another time where we need to reflect, go back, and of course, pay tribute to those who actually suffered, blood, sweat, and tears. Some of us are enjoying some of these privileges today, and we sometimes don't think to ask, how did it come about? We're in a situation where sometimes you get asked, you shouldn't be here. You shouldn't enter this particular place. There are elements of these not publicly known, but at least majority of the privileges we're enjoying. Mommy,
Barry.
we're celebrating Black History Month starting today.
Yeah, Hafiz has given us a little history.
Yeah.
And I think making it a month-long thing was a good move.
Okay.
In the sense that Black history entails a lot. A whole lot.
Yeah.
That cannot be crammed into 1 week.
Absolutely.
So starting from the 1st of February till the end of the month is great.
Right.
But what I was watching a video today.
Okay.
And then it's actually I was listening to the poem we're going to use today.
Okay.
And then the poet was talking about how every year Black History, when it's Black History Month, we look at the same old things.
Yeah.
The civil rights movement.
True.
The people who fought for and died for. The fights, the demonstrations, and all of that. How about we do something more with Black History Month every year? Like we could, and then he went on to talk about inventors people didn't know about.
Okay. Yeah.
And then he talked about a lot of things.
Right.
So I'm thinking, instead of doing the same old thing every year,
Okay.
how about we do something more?
Okay.
That
is true.
There's no way we can talk to the people who, because they're dead and gone.
Yeah.
But I feel like the people who are still championing it can do it in a way where every year that comes, we look at something new.
That is very true.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you'd want to look at things in a different... I think we had this conversation some time ago during our, production stuff. It's like, are we still gonna look at the Rosa Parks standing in a bus, and I wouldn't give up my seat. The white man comes and says you're under arrest. Still gonna narrate that Montgomery issue and all of that.
Well, the thing about Black history is that I mean, it has often been overlooked or ignored, and even sometimes distorted.
Yes.
So Black history, and let's just understand this: Black history is not just about slavery; it is more than just slavery.
Yeah.
Yes, we need to put that out there. And so, I think the celebration or looking at Black History Month, it provides us the opportunity to actually amplify the historic presence and achievements of of African Americans.
Yeah.
Yes, it also gives us the opportunity to also disrupt the miseducation that is ongoing in terms of educating, telling people the history of the African American community.
Right.
Now, for instance, I think you mentioned an interesting name here, Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks, right?
You are familiar with her story. Have you heard of the name Claudette Colvin?
I need to go into my dictionary of history, I guess.
Do you have one?
I have one. I'll show you. So you're daring me.
Now, here's it.
Yeah.
Claudette Colvin. Before Rosa Parks, there was Claudette Colvin.
Right.
9 months before the incident involving Rosa Parks, there was a 15-year-old girl that also decided not to give up her seat.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's not even the best part. She's still very much alive.
You're kidding?
Yes.
Till date?
In the Bronx, New York. So, I mean, so these are things we don't exactly hear of. Yes, we don't exactly.
That's a spoiler.
Hear about. Okay.
Wow.
9 months, and we don't hear about them because a lot of them were actually let go by simply finding them and all. So yes, before the Rosa Parks incident.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are bits and pieces of African American history, even with Rosa Parks.
Right.
I mean, when she's been described. A lot of the time, I caught this video of this African American father that was worried about what his kid was being taught in school, especially regarding the history.
Okay.
Where he mentioned that when the kid came home, he was talking about Rosa Parks with all kinds of excitement, but described Rosa Parks as someone that was frail and tired and an old woman, basically. That was
That's the picture they painted.
Exactly. And he was very worried because, I mean, the right story is Rosa Parks was just 42. There was no way she was going to be old, frail, and whatnot.
No.
Yes. And if, as regarding she was tired, well, she worked 6 hours. She was a seamstress. So you would expect that she would work 6 hours a day before she... So these are little bits of history that sometimes, I mean, that gets overlooked. And it is dangerous.
Right.
Now, as an African here, I might say it. Now, it is so dangerous that, I mean, as an African, sometimes we sit and say, well, it's an African-American business.
Yeah,
let me state my side of things. I have my own
and mind my business.
Exactly.
You're right.
But that is not even the case because, you see, the thing is, we are here and we see people throng the embassies trying to go abroad.
Yeah.
Now, immediately you step on the U.S. soil, you are going to be seen as just another black man.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the problems the African Americans face, you're going to face it.
Right.
You're not going to be seen as an African. You're going to be seen as just another black man.
You're right.
So, I mean, you will be doing yourself a world of good if you actually take time to learn a little bit of history. Arm yourself with this sort of information before you get out there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Great. I'm happy you made mention of that, Mami. I don't know about you, but I think it's good because I don't know how we actually take our time to learn our history, more like dedicate a particular month, maybe in different countries. Okay, let's learn about this particular thing in terms of history, because every country in Africa has a diaspora, and sometimes you'd want to go back and reflect and get to, okay, this is a particular thing that I think everyone should get to know in terms of history, in terms of how our people came about. But it's more of like a generic thing where we just need to learn in school until Independence Day. Some of these things are mentioned and all of that. Mami, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think every country should have a history month. Where we look at certain things, certain historic things that happened back in time.
Right.
And then we educate the people. Because it's like, it's the same old thing that we learn in the textbooks that they keep churning out to the next generation, to the next generation, to the next generation. And these things could get distorted over time.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody could add some, somebody could take some out.
I mean, let me give you a typical example in our base Ghana. I mean, we all knew Kwame Nkrumah Sajifo was more of like the first president, and he's more of like the one who spearheaded independence until we had another Republic Day. It used to be what, 1st July 1960? But that was changed, right?
Republic Day was 1st July 1960.
But then there was this one that independent. What do you call it?
Founders
Day.
Founders Day, yeah.
Yeah, I think Founders Day used to be celebrated on Kwame Nkrumah's birthday.
On Kwame Nkrumah's birthday, exactly, as the one who founded the Republic. But then it wasn't so. It was actually a collective efforts from these big six.
It was with an apostrophe S. Now it's an S apostrophe. So founders. It has now moved to Founders Day.
It was
an apostrophe.
So initially it used to be one person, but now it's just like a group of people.
So founders with an S.
Yeah.
So
S
plural.
apostrophe, exactly.
Okay, now it's plural. Founders Day. So it's not only you can't take all the glory. So it actually distorts a bit, even though it could be the right information. But why? Sometimes you move forward. Are we now seeing the real thing? Do we have? Because I listened to one historian. I mean, he actually made some serious points about even the one who even came out with the name Ghana, about how Kwame Nkrumah wasn't the one who even had independence. I'm like, really? And these are people that were actively involved in politics way back in the day, So you start having this chunk of issues in your mind, like, so what is it? I mean, what we read in the books back in basic schools, are they the right things?
Yes, I understand your frustration. I mean, it can be frustrating with the constant changes we've seen.
Yeah.
I mean, one government comes in and calls it this particular name.
Exactly.
The other decides to change it. And you can see that, I mean, there's a lot of reasons behind it, but it's not to learn. I mean, so a lot of the time, I mean, people have given all kinds of excuses why these changes have been made.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into that. Goats so dangerously close to
politics.
politics.
That's more political
exactly.
issues. Yeah.
The thing we should understand about history is that if you don't document or tell your own story, your own history, what happens is that anybody else telling it will not convey the same experience and complexity with which you actually lived it.
Very true.
And so anybody doing that is going to be a watered down version of it. So you had
not the real picture.
Exactly.
Right.
So you had better get in forefront of it. And yes, we need to understand that it's not just a February thing. Okay, we shouldn't just limit it to February. Once it's done, and okay,
we're done. Yeah, let's get it over with.
Business as usual.
Yeah.
No, it is something that should continue. It is something that people need to constantly be reminded. I mean, the African American contribution to pop culture and everything has come a long way.
Yeah.
And I'm sure in the course of the week we'll definitely delve into some of these areas and what the contributions are so far.
Absolutely.
And it's such a rich history that we can't allow to stay dormant. I mean, we have to make noise about it.
It has to be mentioned.
We as Africans are a huge part of that.
Right.
And we need to start recognizing it.
All right. I mean, I remember when you made mention of the boycotting of, or more of like, is it boycotting the Western products and buying from the black-owned stores and businesses and everything? It shouldn't be a one-day thing, but we should make a constant efforts.
I think it was Black
Tuesday,
Day, Black
Friday. There was this particular
No, it wasn't
day.
Black Friday. It was Blackout Day.
Blackout Day, huh?
Yeah.
Where you're supposed to.
I don't really remember the name. Yeah, where we just had to support black.
Absolutely.
I feel like it shouldn't be a one-time
thing. Yeah.
It's just something. I mean, we could do it like every Tuesday, or maybe find a day in the week where we're just buying from black stores, where we are just patronizing black-owned products. I think that would help a lot.
Great.
Okay, so let me ask this controversial question. It's something that probably you would think about.
Okay.
Hopefully our listeners too would actually think about.
Right.
Can blacks be racist? Is this a question?
Everywhere? I mean, blacks anywhere in the world, or it's
just blacks?
I think to some extent, yes. I think to some extent, yes. Right. Yeah.
Think critically about that.
I will think about it, but believe me, majority of my answer would be affirmative. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's another conversation for
She's confused. Are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay. What would you say?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, racism is treating a person differently because they are from a different race. Or because they come from a different place. And everybody
they
can
affiliated
do that.
to a certain group. Yeah.
Okay, so
I mean, I've watched this sitcoms where they're like, no, black people can be racist, but then they make some comments and you're like,
yeah.
No, but let's get this. I mean, usually they say blacks can. Okay, per your assertion that blacks can be as well. Now, for those that argue in favor of the fact that, or against the fact that blacks can be racist,
cannot be racist. Okay.
Now the argument is simple.
Right.
That blacks have always been on the short end or on the receiving end of it.
Okay.
You can't.
I'll give you a typical example when you're done.
No. I'm just putting an argument.
Good.
They say, look.
I
mean, you can't be racist if
you're always on the receiving end.
You are the one being oppressed and everything. Because at the end of the day,
okay.
I mean, you don't control resources.
Right.
You don't get to call the shots, basically.
Okay.
So how can you be deemed racist?
Have you heard about the story of, is it the Liberian story or the Sierra Leone story? The Liberian story. I don't know if it's a myth. I mean, those that actually were freed to Freetown, Liberia. That's Freetown? Yeah. Or Monrovia, rather. Monrovia. It was like that to their fellow men because they saw themselves coming from the US, from the diaspora. Now they're here to champion things. So those indigenes actually suffered some form.
But that's not racism, or?
But Hafiz, I
get where
Hafiz is coming from.
Okay.
Hafiz is talking about racism in the form of, let's say, not getting the resources where they don't have access to healthcare and all of that.
Oh, that's
okay. When it
comes,
I mean, all of that comes under the umbrella of racism. Yes.
Right.
But when it comes to that aspect, black people can be racist. Okay, because they are not.
So are you changing your stance then?
I am not.
Wait,
I'm just saying. When it comes to aspects of where black people are facing police brutality and all of that, they cannot be racist in that sense. But when it comes to, like, let's say, racism is not just cutting people away from getting quality healthcare or resources or clean water and all of that.
No.
I mean, sometimes certain comments that you pass.
Oh yeah, against your fellow man,
one-on-one. So when it comes to that aspect, black people can be, everybody can be racist.
I mean, to be racist and all, you need to be granted certain privileges. I mean, for a Caucasian, a lot of the time you hear of white privilege.
Okay.
Where by the color of your skin, you are assumed to be in a certain way. Unlike the black man that doesn't get the benefit of the down from the
comments you pass sometimes can be
racist too. So when it comes to
what you say to someone,
like personal, like one-on-one, like human interactions, black people can be racist as well.
Anyway, let me give you an example. When you say on the receiving end, we'll talk about the fact that women get abused the most because of the fact that, in quotes, they're vulnerable. Okay, always on the receiving end. Now, men equally get abused, don't they?
They do.
They do.
What's your point?
No, the point is, it's abuse.
The point is, anybody can dish it out.
Because they've already tagged the women, in quotes, as the vulnerable ones.
So women cannot be abusive.
Can't they also abuse the men?
Well,
we've had it, even though it's a bit, but we've had it.
I mean, we've even seen it on Twitter where black Americans say certain things about Africans and you're there, you're like...
Right.
Can't be the same color.
Well,
I think usually that has to do with issues of colorism and all.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Where even amongst Africans, where those that are light skinned
are supposed to be
feel superior to those that are darker.
I think it actually stemmed from the way the
it's one of the legacies, unfortunate legacies
the
of
Westerners actually, because you are the guys supposed to be the butlers and the ones in the house cleaning.
And then the
really dark ones
will be on the farm
singing the chant song and everything.
So Barry, you probably would be a butler.
Okay, the show is Africa Daily on Africa Global Radio. But one listener says you were talking about. It says that you were talking about structural racism. That's what it says more you're talking about, or institutional racism. But yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot of dynamics to all of these. But yeah, the conversation will definitely continue. Okay, Mo, you want to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say the theme for this year's Black History Month celebration
yes, important.
Black family, representation, identity, and diversity.
Beautiful.
And the theme was set to explore the African diaspora and the spread of black families across the United States.
Nice. But so to let all of you know on the continent, it's all about Black History Month in the US, but you can also do your part to celebrate, okay? Because there's always a link between your country or your jurisdiction with the diaspora. So yeah, Let's enjoy it whilst we can and share history and try to get the facts. Let's not try to turn things and make it like, I'm not sure. Be sure, because the facts are out there. There are people that can help you out. I am Barry Musa. Thank you very much for listening to the Discussion Zone today. Now, we will continue discussions on the Black History Month. Look at the struggles and the outcome of the struggles, what it gave birth to. And some of the people who actually played a vital role, but these are very silently mentioned in history. Why? You'd get to find out all of these on the Africa Daily Show. Thank you, Hafiz, and to Maud.